Oh, now we're at the better Christmas movie that's not Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny. Oh, yeah, that's what we saw before you showed up.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. So
Who wins?
Well, it wasn't Santa versus the Ice Cream
Oh,
Bunny.
man.
Obviously, it would be the ice cream bunny.
Yeah, probably.
That fucker could throw down.
Yeah. We just got out of Krampus, which you're really glad you liked.
Yeah, this is way past my bedtime. I'm like, I'll stay awake for Krampus.
Yeah, I texted you, like, so Krampus is at 10, and normally you don't come. Normally it's just me and Brian at the 10 o'clock ones, or me and Irving. And you wrote back, how long is it? It's 98 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
This was not the movie I thought it was going to be, because I didn't know anything about it except that it was a horror movie about Krampus, because all I had to go on, I don't have TV, I don't go to the movies that much, so I didn't see any ads. All I saw was like pictures on sponsored Tumblr posts that just made it look like this dark movie. All it was just like black with Krampus and like, don't be naughty this year or whatever, so I thought it was going to be a lot darker than that. But then you said Adam Scott was in it, and I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be kind of funny. But it was more family friendly than I thought it'd be, even though it is R, I think.
It's PG-13.
PG-13. I mean, it was less dark than I thought it would be, but darker than you would think a comedy like that would be.
This movie is exactly what I hoped it would be, which is amazing.
Yeah, 'cause the trailers, like you said, make it look like a straight horror movie, but Brad kept assuring me it was going to be a horror comedy, which also kind of worried me.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel like it was more of like it was a horror comedy, but horror was the point of it, you know?
It feels like an 80s horror comedy, where it's like...
It's more Gremlins-esque than like, you know...
than Goosebumps.
Than Goosebumps,
It
yeah.
kept making me thinking of Puppet Master, which is like one of my favorite horror movies.
I like
'Cause
Puppet
it's scary,
Master.
but then there are points where it's like, well, that's just adorable.
Yeah, I'm kind of with demonic toys like you are with Puppet Master. Whereas it's one of those movies like Gremlins, like you said, where there's funny shit that happens in it, but this is a universe where people die.
As far as we know, only one person died, though. And that was the guy in the car. Because the rest of them, like, there's a horrible ending, but they're alive.
Yeah.
But that guy stuck in the car, it's like, no, he's dead. He's solid.
That guy is gone. This movie's so good. I love this movie so much. Like, I know it's Oscar season and there's a lot of great movies out, but go see this movie.
that fucking Jack in the Box was so creepy. Like, I didn't expect to see something that creepy in this movie, but it was legitimately scary.
And the reaction to it was priceless too, because they're like, what?
Oh, I could. You were in the restroom, and I said to Allison, like, I could just watch 2 hours of Adam Scott reacting
to things,
to horrible things that are. Which I love Adam Scott, and Adam Scott is just like the perfect straight man whenever he's this or Ben Wyatt, and Adam Scott is typically at his straight man best when he's acting opposite something ridiculous, whether it's like this horrific clown demon Jack in the Box or Parks and Rec, where he's standing there trying to help them get their bills in order and they're shooting marshmallow guns at him.
He was saying the trailer lines for most of this, and I could tell, even having not seen any of the trailers, like, these are the trailer lines.
Actually, not really. The one big line laugh that he had in the trailer actually wasn't in the movie.
Remind me.
It was when they're sitting down for when they're having dinner, and there's a piece of it in the movie where David Koechner is talking about those little chickens that they're eating, and then he starts complaining that Adam Scott's is bigger, and in the trailer Adam Scott just goes, "Okay, do you want to trade?" And they cut that out of the movie. The stuff like, or at least like the theatrical trailers we got for it, the stuff like the Jack in the Box being horrifying and Adam Scott going, "Really?" Or like, "Oh, come on." Or like David Koechner getting pulled out and Adam Scott going like, "Oh, great." Those weren't in the trailer. Or at least the theatrical one. Maybe the TV ones. I don't know.
Oh, that's surprising to me.
Plus, I think he was doing a really good job acting as well, like the more serious moments.
Yeah.
There was a point towards the end, and obviously spoilers, where he's like he's standing there, and he realizes he's about to get sucked down in the snow, and just this like look of dread and despair kind of just like hits his face for just a split second, and then he's just gone.
Oh yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still a horror film. Like, it's funny. Like, when they're shooting gingerbread men with a shotgun, like, it's funny, but like,
the dog eats one,
but there is still this thing that's trying to murder all of you.
I like the dog went to snow globe hell with them.
Yeah.
The dog got taken too.
He also did not have the Christmas spirit.
The biggest laugh, I think, though, from the audience and from me, was when the stupid fat kid.
Oh my God.
Augustus.
You know he's going to be gotten because
Augustus
he's fat. Augustus Gloop is going to be gotten because he's a fat fuck. And that's what happens. Like, a fucking gingerbread man on a hook comes in through the fireplace, and he's like,
Well, it's food.
I guess
seems
I'm
on the
gonna
up
go
and
eat
up.
it. You're like, I can't believe that's gonna work. There they go. They got fat fuck Augustus Gloop over there.
That was when I knew I loved this movie. Like,
Well, I could hear you beside me, like,
like I was smiling through a majority of this movie, and when it got to that moment where Krampus is playing fat kid fishing through a chimney, and then when the gingerbread man turned out to be alive, oh my God.
Well, they had this brilliant moment of like the Thing style foreshadowing when they're trying to find the daughter when she's gone missing.
Yeah.
And they're in that house where obviously the Krampus has already been, and there's just a gingerbread man pinned to the wall with a knife.
Yeah. And then
It's like,
and David Koechner, like, there's something messed up happening here.
and then he eats a piece of it.
Crunch. They're starving.
Oh my god, this movie is so good.
I would go see, if I wasn't at the movie theater every single week, I would go see this so many times. I can't wait to take Violet to this movie.
Earlier this month, do you remember when we were talking about what Christmas movie we thought we'd end up making everyone watch next year's Christmas?
Yeah.
I think we figured out what it's going
But
to be.
this is like, previously it's been like, oh, this movie's so bad, we gotta make people watch Saving Christmas
This is
or
just,
Winter's
guess what,
Tale.
we're watching the Krampus.
Yeah, this is like, no, this movie is amazing. Like, this is like one of those great violent-ass Christmas movies, like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Christmas Evil, and Gremlins, that you could just put on just because awesome.
Which is good because it's not going to bring the party down like A Winter's Tale ended up doing. Like, let's watch this, guys. This will be hilarious. Then 2.5 hours later, everyone's like,
I was enjoying it.
yeah, of course we were.
At least the benefit of Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas is it's only 70 minutes long. Or, well, 90 if you stay through the credits. Which you guys did.
Yep. We had to see the rap battle.
Well, I like, when this movie started out, like, and the family is just miserable to each other. Like, I'm watching it like, wow, boy, would I have kicked these people out like 5 minutes ago.
I was a little upset. It's like, I've already seen Love the Coopers.
I was thinking of that movie too. I was like, there was a moment where I was like, I hope this isn't one of those movies where I'm just hoping everyone dies, except Adam Scott. But I wasn't. Like, once it gets past just like that awkward dinner that they have, that I'm sure a lot of families have, everyone has their own little humanizing moment in it.
Except for Augustus.
Except for that kid.
Because God forbid you be fat and awkward.
but screw that.
This
kid,
movie has
whatever.
no pity for
Fuck
you.
him. But no, like the aunt who shows up, who at first just shows up just to give everybody shit, but even she has her moment where she's teaching the kids how to make peppermint schnapps, or, you know, David Koechner is talking to Adam Scott about guns, and the two sisters talking about their mom. Everyone has just their own humanizing moment in the movie that makes them less of like this kind of caricature that they sort of show up as in the first few minutes, but it's quickly moved past that to where like I was really rooting for everyone in this movie, but at the same time was glad that it's like an 80s horror movie where anyone could just die in this.
Yeah, because you kind of got a feeling David Koechner's family was there just to die at the beginning of the movie, but
Yeah.
then, like you said, it humanized all of them, and it felt more like, okay, this is a dysfunctional family because they've got all their own shit going on.
Yeah. And once Krampus shows up, they're all working together to get their fucking kids back or fall asleep while watching the kids.
Look, he had just gotten his leg practically torn off.
Yeah.
He probably not so much fell asleep as he passed out.
It's really late, and like the TV's not working. You're probably gonna fall asleep.
I thought the Eagle Scouts thing was going to come into play, and then it didn't.
Yeah,
Like, they had this
thing
where, like-
leg, and that's about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Plus,
Because
he owned binoculars.
They brought up with Adam Scott at the dinner, like, they're like, oh, he did Eagle Scouts instead of sports. And I'm like, oh, the survival thing's going to come into play. And then it didn't really. I mean, everyone sort of had their own kind of thing going on. But
I was kind of fine with that, only because I just sat through Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, and boy, was that a miserable piece of shit.
Did they have survival skills?
Yeah, they did. I can't remember what, but they did. I guess. I don't know. They were mostly just squeezing zombie boobs, as you do in Scouts.
That's the one preview from that I will always remember is when we're like, there's a zombie broad like chasing them like, "Wah!" And then she gets her tits caught in like a chain link fence in such a way that it rips her shirt open, and they're like, what? So they all go back to take pictures with them.
And dude is
I'm
like,
not watching that movie.
Whoa, bro! And like takes out his phone and like, because internet doesn't exist in this universe. Like that's a whole other man. That movie was a plate of ass. No, this is a really good horror comedy, and is. In ways that something like Gremlins is, there's dark and violent shit going on there, but it's totally fucking seasonable. Like this movie just kind of looks like it's taking place in the Home Alone house.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a Christmassy movie, and like the end of it was a little predictable, but not in the way that you'd expect. Because like they've got like it turned out to be a dream moment, and then it turned out not to be a dream moment. But it was done in a more unique way than like having a hand crash up to the middle of the couch, which is kind of what I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I was expecting like. Because at first I was like, this could be the kind of movie where that kid is dropped into this pit and then the movie ends.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. I thought he dropped in the pit, and then I was like, did they just tack on a happy ending and that was the original one? Like, and they were just like, no, you can't have it. You can't have an unhappy ending. You got to have them survive at the end. I kind of they threw another twist at us.
Yeah, I kind of expected the Krampus to just leave him despondent in the snow, and then the credits just start rolling.
Yeah, I was like, it could like there were a couple moments like that where there was that narration about the Krampus, which, oh my god, I love that there's an older woman in this who's like
an older German
woman who's like, I know this is the work of the Krampus.
She's a badass.
She was amazing.
They have that scene where she waits for him.
Yeah.
And they're face to face, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. The Krampus is scary, but she can throw down, I bet.
Yeah. The little lady Gimlet eyes, just like, what are you gonna do?
Like,
I'm so old, just kill me.
Yeah, and there's this animated backstory, which is beautiful.
It was gorgeous. Like, they zoomed in on her skin at one point, and it was kind of like translucent and fuzzy looking.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like an animated sequence.
I'm so glad there was, and it looked like it was this kind of animation that you're used to seeing when the movie's about the Holocaust or something. Like, but it's about Krampus.
It reminded me a little bit of Coraline, but it wasn't stop motion.
Like,
her character did, yeah. And then there's like the background characters that are all masked in shadows and everything is like the kind of really cool animation you see when the movie's really depressing.
Yeah.
And I took the shit out of that. And when the kid wakes up, I didn't think it was gonna cop out like that. Like, it's just a dream and then movie's over. I thought like he's gonna look out the window or something and Krampus is gonna be there, or he's gonna find the ornament or something. But when it went into like snow globe, like Saint Elsewhere kind of like,
turns out they're just trapped in Christmas forever.
Yeah,
because that's what he wanted.
I thought at first it was going to be like pull a mirror, where it's like, I wish Christmas was like what it was before, and then like he's a baby again, or he's in the past, or something like that. And then when it wasn't, when he came out, I'm like, okay, different twist. But at first I was like, that's gonna be stupid.
Brad, this is gonna be stupid. Oh, hang on. Maybe like he'll have a workshop and there'll be a bunch of snow globes. Oh my god.
Called it.
Yeah, I surprisingly called it. No, I didn't think like that was a good surprise at the end.
It would have been like my reaction to the fucking Ice Cube trailers, like, no thanks. Pass.
Oh, our reaction to those are always, oh, those are Brian movies.
Because I hadn't seen those before. I didn't know they were still making barbershop movies. I'm like, fuck. Like, I remember when the first one came out. Why are they still making those?
Because of the powerhouse that was Beauty Shop. And Brian.
The one with like Ice Cube and Kevin Hart as cops. They didn't even tell you the plot of it. They're just like, they're cops. They do cop things.
It was a sequel to Ride Along.
Brian was at that.
Because it looked vaguely familiar. Like maybe he was marrying Ice Cube's sister, and Ice Cube is a cop, and so he was gonna ride along so they could bond as bros. Mm-hmm. But I guess they're just doing that again.
Well, I didn't see that movie, but Brian was at it by himself, so I was in the car with him, so I had to ask him about it as if I cared. So I had to like ask him all these questions about Ride Along as if I'm gonna see it. So it'll probably be him at the second one.
Just by himself again.
Actually, I think Letty was with him.
Oh,
so well, yeah, it wasn't like that Step Up movie that he was alone at because Irving like got called into work or something like that. But yeah, so there was at least you didn't, there's another Kevin Hart movie coming out that's him and Dwayne Johnson, and it's another like he's small and the guy opposite him is bigger. What?
Twins remake.
No, it's like they're running a security for, I don't know, like it looks like that fucking movie, but the other guy is Dwayne Johnson, except the tagline of it is sometimes you just gotta have a little heart but with a big Johnson.
Sure it is.
Well, another Brian movie. I say
Kevin
that, but
Hart looking cross-eyed at stuff.
I could easily be at that movie too. Me and Dave had to go see Think Like a Man 2.
Was that the one that turned to be secretly good, or was that Best Man Holiday?
Best Man Holiday wasn't secretly good, but it was secretly awesome in every horrible way ever. It was just great. Like it wasn't a good movie, but it's like it's great because suddenly there's Terrence Howard with a Roman hat and a candelabra for reasons. That was the only movie that came out that weekend. That's why me and Dave were at it with Brian.
Krampus.
Is there anything?
I had a slight nitpick about it. I was telling you guys outside, and I think whoever dressed the actors in this movie had never been in snow before.
Oh.
Because they kept wandering outside, and it's such a small thing, but it just kept bothering me. They kept wandering outside, and they had announced, it is negative 20 degrees outside. I was out there for 4 minutes, and the tip of my fingertip is practically frostbitten. Mm-hmm. And then like 5 minutes later, Adam Scott's like, I'm gonna go look for him. I'll put on my fall jacket. Zip, zip, drop, drop, drop.
I think I've just kind of gotten used to that in movies.
They pull out like the little old lady in me. It's like, put on your scarf.
Oh, I hear you. Like, because that's totally true. Like, it is. It's a movie cold.
Because like movie cold where they don't want to mess anyone's hair up or not see their faces because their faces are pretty.
Yeah, they did some makeup on Adam Scott after they had that scene where they were out in the blizzard for a while, where his face was kind of red. Mm-hmm. But then he got better really quick. He was like perfectly fine after, and I'm like, oh, like I thought like he was like kind of frostbitten a little bit, like very lightly,
just
you know, like
from exertion.
Well,
see, like,
guess I'm fine now.
Yeah, I was like, he got better.
Just put his face by the fire.
I mean, this is not taking place over a huge span of time. It's only like a few days.
Yeah. But as far as like the makeup and like effects work goes, that shit was fucking great on the monsters.
We've mentioned before that we like real effects rather than the CG ones, and I think they use that to great effect in this movie.
Yeah, because they use CGI when it's necessary, but other parts, like that fucking horrific fucking clown face and shit.
It just like splits open and there's this kind of like pendulous jaw.
Yeah.
And then it's got this huge kind of like bulbous body hanging out this tiny little box in the back, and it's obviously full of children.
Yeah, it is.
Like just dragging itself across the ground.
And the
that
creepy
angel thing.
Yeah, that little angel thing, the baby thing, the fucking teddy bear, like creepy bear that you see at like every like convention.
Yeah, you bought one of those bears.
I did, yeah. That was a good purchase.
They saved the reveal of the Krampus until near the end of like his face, and that was a good wait because when you finally see it, and it's just elongated kind of Santa face.
Yeah,
you're
like a goat or something, but it's just like.
Yeah, it's like this, demonic fucking Merlin looking at you.
Just like this tongue is.
Oh my god.
Licking old ladies.
I thought at first when they were showing the gingerbread man and they're just kind of cartoony, I'm like, oh no, is this just gonna be kind of cartoony? Like it's like, oh, it's kind of funny because they're Santa's related, but whatever. But then like they got to some of the fucking horror shit going on with the other ones. I'm like, oh goodness, these are a lot creepier because when they had the first reveal when he's chasing the sister down on the rooftop and he makes that howling noise. It was really creepy, but she's hiding under the car, and you've seen that scene in a lot of horror movies. It's like they're hiding under the car, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like a jump scare when he just goes like, ta-da, he's there, and he grabs her, but he doesn't. He leaves like a Jack in the Box, and you just see like the slow like and then slowly something starts popping up, but you only see like half its face, and I'm like, what is that? You don't see what it is. Oh no! Like it had the black eyes. It's the creepy black eyes. You're like,
it had the like ice cream bunny eyes.
It's the jump scare that doesn't happen too, because you expect to just like plow, because that part kind of got ruined by the preview, because you see her hiding under there and then the little thing goes off, but it doesn't show the reveal. So you expect it to bounce up, and it's like.
Yeah,
it's so much creeper that way. Like it's not like Pachoo jumps at you. It's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is coming out of that thing?
I don't like Christmas anymore, but I love Christmas movies even more now. I highly recommend it. I would recommend going out to the theater to see this.
Oh, yes. Bring the whole family. It's only PG-13.
Yeah, it's just a PG-13. Don't worry.
I bet it was probably rated R at first, and they did some things to make it not. Like, it seemed like when they had, I don't remember the actor's name, the uncle.
David Koechner.
Yeah, when he does the, like, motherfucker, but then they cut him off.
Oh, there were a bunch of
mothers. I bet that was motherfucker, and they changed it.
Yeah. It was the kind of movie that if had it come out in the 80s, it would have been PG. Because 80s PG is wildly different. There's some 80s PG that easily would be an R.
I do kind of like, he reminded me, that the bad side of the family reminded me a bit of like from the National Lampoon
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, I thought exactly
that in my head.
When he came in, I was like, Cousin Eddie. Like, I'm like, that's what they're doing exactly.
Cousin Eddie, if they were just miserable, like, because Cousin Eddie is like rednecky and white trashy like in this, but Cousin Eddie is like happy and kind of jolly and is like always like in a good mood and shit. Like, hey, that sure does look swell, Clark. Roll over, let Uncle Clark scratch your belly and things like that. Like in this, they're rednecky like that, but they're at first when they're at the table, they're just hateful.
You know what? Like the family, they're so stupid though. Like they have that dinner, and then the rotten little girls are like, "Oh, you still believe in Santa? We're gonna read this letter," and then the whole family's sitting there watching.
I was
like, at first I thought they were just like they couldn't hear them because they were on like another side of the table, or maybe like they were in the other room. But then you see them watching, and I'm like, okay, maybe the shitty redneck dad, but like, what about Adam Scott? He's just sitting there like,
yeah.
I guess he's just gonna humiliate my son. Whatever.
I was thinking that too. I was like, why is anyone not stopping this? That was like a moment where I was like, I hope it's not one of those movies where I just want everybody but Adam Scott and the kid and Toni Collette to die. But it wasn't. That's really just like the first within the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
No, like, it kind of gives you a sense of the adults, you know, like, they're not the most competent people. And I think that maybe in that moment, they all expected each other to do something about it.
Yeah, and there are moments where, like Toni Collette with the ant in the kitchen, where she more or less does tell the ant to fuck off.
As well she should, because the ant was being a bitch.
Hardcore.
Well, and the aunt, too, when she did that scene where she's being a bitch and then she tells her off, like, the aunt's, like, almost apologetic afterwards or trying to excuse herself, so at least it felt a bit better than just like, well, excuse me, and then just leaving. It was like, oh, okay.
This is how you treat all your guests? Something like that, yeah.
It was something like, this food clogs up my arteries, or something like that.
Next time we'll have Christmas in your trailer.
I do like when the aunt starts just gunning down the monsters in the living room.
And again, like, teaching the kids about important things, like making peppermint schnapps coffee.
So those were Snuggies, my friend.
Snuggies?
And I think they're called Snuggies. I learned the name of it. It's hot cocoa with peppermint schnapps in it.
Oh, okay.
Which is a drink that I enjoy, and so I looked up the name of it, and the name was stupid.
Snuggies. Cute Christmas. Actually, I like Christmas. Violet will really like this. She's hardcore into Christmas.
Christmas is my favorite holiday.
Halloween's mine, but I do like Christmas.
It was a better Christmas movie than Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny.
Well, yeah.
At least it felt like it had a place in Christmas. Oh, by the way, it's a Christmas movie, but we're going to the Bahamas.
I'll pull up a still.
How does an ice cream bunny survive the Bahamas?
Well, they're not in the
understand
Bahamas,
this
but it's
movie.
like, look, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It does. Santa's
None of it makes a
sleigh
lot of
breaks
sense.
down on the beach,
no.
and they're getting all these animals to try to dig the sleigh out,
Hey,
and then
you
it cuts
You know what?
to.
You should watch the midnight screenings of Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny. We'll give you the
I'll
lowdown.
wait for the review.
Oh. Remember, you gotta wait a week if you're not on Patreon.
Oh man, I'm too cheap to pay you.
I'll pull up a still shot of the rabbit when I'm using my phone as light.
I'm fine. What I'm picturing in my head is, those like Ninja Turtle ice cream pops that they sell at the ice cream truck, is like the big offset
It did
gumball
kind of
eyes.
have bubblegum eyes.
There's nothing will prepare you for the still shot I'm about to show you.
Nothing can ever really prepare you for the Ice Cream Bunny.
That's yeah, that's a whole thing and a half. It is half a movie. The other half is Jack and the Beanstalk.
But the Ice Cream Bunny would fit in pretty well with the Krampus villains. Mm-hmm. And we talked about, you mentioned it's like had ice cream bunny eyes, but that's exactly the thing, because you do like those black beady eyes when it's something scary.
Yeah.
And they did it well in Krampus, and that's why Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny was terrifying.
Yeah, it's like Nuki like looking at Nuki's stupid ass costume where his mouth doesn't move and his eyes are kind of that is better than the Ice Cream Bunny.
I wish the Ice Cream Bunny had come out in Adam Scott. Like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's a thing. Okay.
Okay. I like the part where the uncle is like, I'm sorry, thank you for saving my life, and I'm sorry I thought you were a spineless dick all these years.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
like Adam Scott's reaction face, that perfect, like, thanks.
Did you want to do trailers? Did you want to go to bed?
I captured them. We already talked about the barbershop, the next cut. We've discussed Deadpool and the Fifth Wave.
There was the boy.
Terrorist.
It was the first one, that horror one with the
I
doll.
was at the restroom when that was on.
The boy looked terrifying. It was like there was this family, and they were like letting the babysitter know what was the deal with their son, who was just this like doll. Mm-hmm. And there was this whole list of rules of what you could and couldn't do with the doll, like don't cover its face, always remember to feed it, never leave it in the room alone.
Don't feed it after midnight.
Don't get it wet. And so it plays out where the woman's like taking care of this doll, and then weird stuff starts happening.
Did you notice when it came out?
Probably January.
I was gonna say if it's January.
It had the lady from The Walking Dead in it. I know her from Supernatural. I don't remember the actress's name, but she was...
Who was she on Walking Dead?
I don't know. I don't watch Walking Dead. I just know she's in it.
I quit after everyone I liked was getting killed and everyone I hate is still on there.
Yeah.
Fuck off, show.
I feel like this movie is probably just gonna coast on the creepiness of the little boy doll.
The doll looks creepy, but it looks like one of those movies that very easily goes into tries too hard to creep you out.
Yeah.
Which is something that I appreciated about Krampus. It didn't try too hard to just be Hollywood creepy. Like, it was just creepy because it was creepy. So it wasn't just, like, doo-doo-doo-doo, gotta do the creepy noise.
Like fucking Annabelle.
Yeah.
That me and Brian went to go see.
Okay.
I still haven't gotten a trailer for The Boy yet.
You missed it. You were...
Brian got it in front of something, because I think Brian and Dave were talking about it, and I think their reaction was just, stupid.
Whatever.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
All right. Later.